What might be holding you back from adding more raw into your life? That's the topic today for our live. I have some common ones that I'd like to go over with you, but if you have any struggles that you've been going through, you can share in the chat. Totally welcome to chat about those with you. That's why we love to do these lives. We love to be interactive and share and help if we can, and inspire you to add more raw food to your life. Habits, that's a good one. They aren't your regular habits yet, and we will chat about that too. That's a very, very important one. Before we begin, as always, we have the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle that's going on right now. Link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. Please go check it out. You're getting 32 downloads, brand new content that's never been released before, valued at nearly $1,400 for $50. That's all you pay, $50. And we all get together. This is an all raw bundle. And again, everything is brand new. So we all get together once a year to release all of our brand new content to you. After the bundle, we'll be selling all our stuff on our websites separately, but it would cost you almost $1,400 to buy all of that stuff. But until May 11th, you get it all for $50. And again, we do this as a celebration once a year to release all of our brand new raw content together for you to get all of the content at a very, 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 very low price. It's like 95% off. So go grab the bundle. Link is in my bio or in the description box below if you're watching on YouTube. So struggles, what seems to be what's holding you back? And I want to address the habits one first because we had somebody mention that flying higher in the chat. Habits, this is so true. Our habits control most of our decisions. So I really love the quote that says, "We don't determine our future. We determine our habits, and our habits determine our future." So we have to start changing our habits. And if we want to succeed with adding more raw food, we have to start changing what we choose when we're hungry, when we're in those challenging situations, when we are stressed out, when we are bored, when we are tired. And it's gonna take time because habits take time to build. Habits take time to be reinforced. And habits take time to strengthen. So it's all about consistency. All about consistency and making sure that you choose these things in those challenging situations, because that's when the habit is further solidified. When you choose it when it's hard. Like, it's easy to choose raw when you just got paid and it's the weekend, you went to the farmer's market, it's the summertime, it's bright out, you're feeling good, you're feeling happy, you're feeling healthy, and you have all the time in the world to make some raw food. Those are easy times. The habits solidify, though, really strongly when we practice in challenging times, like when we're at a restaurant with friends, when we go to a family gathering, when we're tired, when we're stressed out, when we're bored, when we don't know what to make, when we've had a long day. That is when the habits strengthen the most, is when we make those choices in the challenging times. So it's hard. I know it is. It's definitely hard, but it's worth it to change the habits, because cravings are typically, for the most part, the craving is whatever you habitually choose when you're hungry or when you're in that situation. You default to this thing that you typically choose. And that could be anything, all different kinds of things for different people. Like for me, it was Chinese food and Doritos. For someone else, it could be pastries and fancy coffees. For someone else, it could be pizza and takeout. It could be anything for different people. The thing is that I would choose Chinese and Doritos when I was busy, when I was stressed out, when I was bored, when I felt like I needed self-love or whatever. I would default to those choices. So whenever I would feel those things, that's what I would choose. So I had to consciously decide that I wanted to choose something different. I wanted to choose something that nourished me. I wanted to choose something that I'd feel proud of myself for choosing. I wanted to choose something that felt good in my body. So slowly over time, I started choosing that when I would have a craving or a stressful day or whatever, and then it became my new reality with time. So it takes consistency. We've got a question here by Lorelei says, I find cooked warm food to be comforting, but I have made warm raw before such as soup. And yes, that's another one that I wanted to mention too, is some people find it comforting. And when we feel that, we have to boil down why. Why does it make you feel comforting? Because there's so many other things that we could be comforted by, like snuggling up with, a warm raw soup and a good book with a nice fuzzy blanket by the fireplace. That could be comforting too. It doesn't always have to have the cooked food. And if it's something that you want to release, then you're gonna have to start changing how you view it, and other things that you could choose that are comforting as well to you that you could use in place. So maybe that's nice cream, maybe making nice cream. I know it's not comforting because it's not warm, but for some people that can be a comforting thing. It's like a special thing that they make on Friday nights or whatever that's raw, and they feel comforted by that. Or maybe it has nothing to do with food. Maybe it's a warm bath. Maybe it's a good book. Maybe it's red light therapy. Maybe it's going to the sauna. Maybe it's taking a walk in nature. What other things comfort you? So when you need that comfort, you can fall back on other things that aren't the food that you no longer want to be eating. And it's going to take time to get used to it, and it's going to take time to get used to the new things that you find comforting and replacing those when you need the comfort. So I hope that helps a little bit there. Again, it's hard, it's challenging, but yeah, raw soups can be really helpful because you can blend to raw, which is 115 degrees Fahrenheit or 46 degrees Celsius. That's the raw temperature. You can blend on high in a high-speed blender and it'll warm up the soup base. You could also warm up ceramic bowls in the dehydrator and have that in the dehydrator so that it's nice and warm to the touch, and you have like your warm soup in there and it's still raw. Or you have like cucumber noodles with marinated veggies on top, like for example, one of our favorite new recipes right now is the ratatouille style vegetables from Make It Raw Volume 4. That ebook is in the bundle, and Chef AJ and I wrote that book together. She loves ratatouille and I do too, from my past, and I wanted to make a raw version that isn't actually like the classic version of it, but basically marinated the veggies and put them on cucumber noodles. Now you could do this, have the marinated vegetables marinating in the dehydrator, use a warm bowl, you put the ceramic bowl in the dehydrator to warm up, and then you spiralize your cucumbers that have been sitting on the counter so they're not ice cold, and then you spiralize those, put the warm veggies on top with the warm tomato sauce, and in the warm bowl. It's so nice. So there are plenty of different ways that you can enjoy the warm, comforting meals. Tammy says, I bought the bundle yesterday. Can't wait to make some sushi. Yes, I hope you enjoy the sushi. Sushi is one of my comfort foods that I love raw. And it's easy to make, and it brings me back to my past when I used to love eating sushi. So I can enjoy a raw version, and so can you, because the brand new sushi ebook is in the bundle right now. Currently, the only place to get the sushi ebook is in the bundle. It's brand new, just released on May 1st, and it will be available separately after the bundle. But if you want to get Nate's Cracker ebook and the Make It Raw 4 ebook and the new thing from Chris Kendall and Raw Chef Yin's Chinese Takeout raw, it's so good, my friends, it's so good. But if you want to get all of the new content for $50, get the bundle, because it's an amazing deal. It's 95% off what you would pay on May 12th for everything that's in the bundle. So you would pay almost $1,400 to buy everything brand new that all of us have created. But right now you get it for $50. So grab it. Link is in my bio. Okay, so the next thing, we talked about habits. We talked about the warmth. Now we're going to talk about people feel it's overwhelming. And this I get a lot. And yes, anything new is going to feel overwhelming. So learning a new language, learning a new instrument, first day on a brand new job, moving to a new city. All of these things can feel overwhelming. And we all know that the more we practice them, the easier they get. The more we speak the language, the more fluent we become. The more we play the instrument, the better we get. The more we go to work and practice, even when it's uncomfortable, the easier it gets, until you know your job by the back of your hand. It's so easy. So these things we understand all take time. So if it feels overwhelming, that's totally okay. It doesn't mean that you're not capable of adding more raw. It just means it's new and it's okay and you're exploring that. So what I recommend, if it feels overwhelming, just start with one thing. Start with one recipe. Start with one smoothie. Start with one sushi roll recipe from the sushi book. Start with one salad. Just start with one thing. And then the next day, maybe try a different one. Or if you get the bundle, maybe you read a couple pages in someone's book and you understand it and you implement it into your life. Just take it one step at a time. It's like a new language. It's like a new instrument. It's the same thing. We have to practice every day slowly and take slow steps. Not everyone can jump into raw overnight, especially if you're coming from a diet that's very low fiber and low variety, high fat. You're gonna need some time for your body to adjust to more ideal foods in your life. So take your time, one day at a time, one line of a recipe at a time. Just do one thing at a time. We feel like we need to do everything all at once. When narrowing it down to just one thing, one day, 1 hour, one meal, it can make it a lot easier. And don't put so much pressure on yourself because it is a learning opportunity. Strong Body Green Mind says, but for some reason I remembered getting it in March, so I thought I'd lost access. Okay, so the bundle, so we are part of many different bundles. The March bundle was called the Vegan Health Bundle, and that was a very different bundle. That one had different content in it. It did not have anything that is in this raw bundle because everything in this raw bundle is absolutely brand new. It's never been released before, ever, in any form. It's all being released right now in the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle. And every single year we do the raw bundle in May, and we have only new content. So if you did get the March bundle, you did get a lot of awesome content, but if you want all the new stuff from us, the new sushi book, Nate's new cracker ebook, Raw Chef Yin's new Chinese takeout, Make It Raw Volume 4, then you're gonna wanna get this bundle as well because it is totally different content. So, and also keep in mind, please, most bundles, usually in the past, we were able to host for the year, but the prices for hosting have gone up astronomically and we can no longer justify hosting for a year. Plus, another thing too, we noticed that when we host for a year, people just don't download. And we want you to download the content so it's on your device so you have it forever. So we have a new deadline, June 30th. So if you buy the bundle before May 11th, you only have until May 11th to buy it. Then you have until June 30th to download it. Once it's downloaded, you don't have to worry about the deadline anymore. You have to get it downloaded onto your device, and once it's on your device, it's yours forever. We recommend putting it in a safe backup just in case something happens to your device and you lose all the files. You'll still be able to access them if you have them in backup, which you should do for all your important files, not just bundle files, but tax documents and photos, all that stuff. So yes, Strong Body Green Mind says, I almost always download it immediately. That's perfect. Yeah, you don't have to worry about the deadline if you download it right away as soon as you buy it. So that's what we were recommending for people because we noticed that people wait the entire year and then they try to download it last minute and it's expired. So we want you to download the content. So please do go grab the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below, and take 5 minutes. It takes less than 5 minutes to download everything onto your device. Okay, so overwhelming. Yes, start slow, learn something new each day, practice a new recipe once a week. You don't have to do one every day. Maybe it's every Saturday or Sunday is your raw recipe creation. And then you find some new recipes that you can add into your rotation. Maybe you try some sushi recipes and you're like, I love this. Let's have Wednesday night be sushi night. And every Wednesday night, we're gonna make a new sushi recipe or something like that. Start slow and just slowly add more raw to your diet. So the next thing would be, it takes too much time. That's a big one that I hear a lot, that people think it takes too much time, but it depends on what you make, and it doesn't matter what diet you're on. Homemade, home-cooked stuff takes time. I remember when I used to cook food, my meals would take way longer than my raw stuff. And in fact, Nate had his sons over one time. This was years ago. They were making a box of macaroni and cheese, vegan, of course, and we were making our salad. It took us less time to make 2 massive salads and blend the dressing before their mac and cheese was done. And that was a boxed processed food. So it doesn't take a lot of time if you practice. Again, it comes down to practice. You get better at chopping, you get better at blending, you get faster at, you know where everything is in your house, you have the recipe memorized maybe, but it takes time to get there. And you'll get better at it the more often you choose it. So keep practicing. You will get better, and you will find time-saving techniques that help you. Maybe blending a double batch of dressing so you have stuff for the next day. Maybe it's chopping extra vegetables so you have salad for dinner as well as lunch. All these little tiny tips and tricks that you can find using different tools that help you as well. Those are great. Or buying things that are already pre-chopped, like pre-chopped boxed lettuce or pre-grated carrots. That can save a lot of time too. You just grab a handful of carrots or a handful of shredded cabbage and just throw it in your salad. So it makes it a little bit easier to do those as well. But I personally find it's so much faster to make raw vegan meals than it does to make cooked meals of any kind. Again, I used to spend 45 minutes, usually 30 to 45 minutes making dinner every night before I went raw, and now I spend about 15 minutes. Even making sushi is super fast. You just wet chop, squeeze out the stuff, and then fill the rolls. It's so easy to do. So yeah, the time thing, again, it's gonna take time for you to get used to that. Plan your meals, schedule yourself in. That's so important too. We don't schedule ourselves into our day. We show up for everyone else. We show up for our job. We show up for the dentist appointment. We show up for our kids' practices. We show up for our friend who wants to go for coffee or whatever it is. We show up for other people. But if we schedule ourselves in to do food prep, we should show up for ourselves as well. So that's really important to make sure that you do. Strong Body Green Mind says, does the sushi need dehydration? What have you tried already from other creators? Great question. So that's actually one of the issues that people have that I will address right now, is asking, do you need a dehydrator to go raw? You don't need a dehydrator to go raw, but you do need it to make certain recipes. So with the sushi, you can make both. You can make sushi that does not need a dehydrator. You just have the sushi nori rolls, you have the cauliflower or the carrot or whatever rice you use, your fillings, you roll it up and you eat it. It's pretty simple, straightforward. But if there are specific fillings, for example, the marinated lion's mane, or a few other things like the crispy onions, for example, those need a dehydrator. There's certain sauces that do need a dehydrator, but in the sushi book, there's 160 recipes. There's plenty that do not need a dehydrator at all. But there are some sauces that you just mix by hand. There's some sauces that you blend in a blender, and there's some sauces that are condensed in the dehydrator. So if you don't have a dehydrator, just skip those ones until you get one if you want one. But you don't need a dehydrator to go raw. You can eat salads, you can have smoothies, you can have chopped fruit, you can have veggie plates. As long as you have a blender, you can blend dips, or you can dip veggies in dips. You can make a lot of different things without a dehydrator, but a dehydrator is extra fun if you're looking for more variety in your meals. And as for the different things that we've made from other creators, so some of our favorites have been from Raw Chef Yin. We made the cashew chicken, the beef and broccoli, the egg foo young, the egg fried rice, and the fortune cookies from her. Because I have always been a massive fan of Chinese takeout. So when she said that she was making that ebook, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to. I also want to marinate the General Tso mushrooms for tomorrow. So that's going to happen as well. That recipe is in there too. And you get that ebook course when you buy the bundle. A link is in my bio or in the description box below. We've also tried Chris Kendall's poutine recipe, which is a Canadian favorite. And he did it with mushrooms and some other fun ingredients. So he has like the gravy with the cheese curds. It's his best rendition of poutine, and I really enjoyed it. So we made that that recipe is in the group collaboration ebook, which you only get if you buy the bundle. You cannot buy this ebook anywhere else. Every single year we make a collector's edition group ebook that you only get when you buy the bundle. So this year we have world favorites, and there's a bunch of recipes from around the world, and Chris did his poutine from Canada. I did a Scotch broth soup from Scotland because I am mostly Scottish. Nate has a Mexican fiesta salad. There's a Russian salad in there. There's so many fun recipes in that ebook. But again, you only get it if you buy the bundle. You can't get it anywhere else. By Lorelei says, I love having a dehydrator. Chinese takeout recipes sound amazing. Oh, the beef and broccoli. Oh my gosh. I mean, those are some of our favorite new recipes that we're going to be including in our menu rotation now because they're so good. But we make we've done this twice already because it is so good. We make the spicy peanut noodles. It's a cucumber noodles with a spicy peanut sauce from Chef AJ's and mine Make It Raw 4. So the spicy peanut noodles we make, and then we make Ra Chef Yin's cashew chicken, and we mix them together. Oh, it is like heaven. It is so good. So yeah, you're going to want to get the bundle if you want to try that because it's absolutely delicious. Let's see. Watermelon Lime says, I thought you were going to say, I have always been a massive fan of Ra Chef Yin. I have also. Ra Chef Yin and Chinese takeout. So the two together is perfect. Cassie says, I'm very inspired to eat raw food right now. Can you share some benefit you did find eating raw food? I found a huge amount of benefits eating raw food. And for all of these reasons, that's why I still choose raw food after over a decade. I have not had cooked food in over a decade. I choose raw food because I want raw food. And people often say, Lissa, why don't you just eat whatever you want? And I'm like, but I do. I eat raw food. That's what I want because that's what I feel the best. So my cystic acne cleared up. I lost 70 pounds within the first 14 months. My hormones stabilized. I finally got my period to be monthly for the first time in my whole life when I was 35. So that happened. My joint pain went away. My cystic I said cystic acne, but my candida overgrowth and my gut dysbiosis went away as well. And I'd been battling candida overgrowth for 15 years. And it wasn't until I changed the foundation of what I was doing every single day without moderation or whatever, I stuck to raw food. I choose it every meal all the time. And that's what I want for my body because that's how I feel my best. I feel more hydrated. I feel happier. I just feel overall better. And obviously, diet is only one thing, one part of whole body health. We need stress management. We need sleep, proper sleep. We need exercise. We need time in nature. We need to follow a passion. We need to be of service to others. Like there's a lot of other things that diet will never do, but diet is a huge part of our health. So it's very important to do that. But those are all some of the benefits that I experienced. Just feeling amazing. I just really love it. Thai inspired, I'm sure, like a peanut cheeky sauce. Yeah, it's like a spicy peanut noodle. Oh, it's so good. Yes, definitely Thai inspired. Strong Body Green Mind says, being lazy, I always stick with fruit and simple salads. Gotta up raw culinary game a bit. And yeah, it's great to have simple things to fall back on when we're busy, when we're tired, when we're bored or whatever. But it is also fun to include some of those other things to get more variety, to build a healthier microbiome by expanding our variety of different things that we eat and exploring new techniques. I personally feel like it's so much fun to get in the kitchen and create. I really enjoy that part of the raw diet. I love creating food in the kitchen. And when there's days that I feel tired too, I don't want to go do it. But I get up and I go in the kitchen. All I have to do is go in the kitchen or get the lettuce out of the fridge. And then by the time I start chopping the lettuce, I'm in the flow and I just make a salad and I try to put as much variety in there as I can. But I also really love getting in the kitchen and getting creative, trying other people's recipes, because you might be surprised at some recipes you try, some recipes you might not like, some recipes might be your absolute new favorites of all time. So you never know unless you try, unless you make some new stuff. So yes, get the bundle and download that and enjoy. Nate is so lucky. So, oh, thank you. So do you have a huge chunk of your diet with Low-fat raw vegan gourmet. So, you know, I wouldn't say it's a huge chunk. So gourmet, I don't necessarily like the term gourmet, so to speak, because all our food is gourmet in a way. We like to make all our simple ingredients look pretty. So yeah, it might look gourmet or gourmet, whatever that means to you. But in the raw world, gourmet means high fat. And what we like to do is called fresh gourmet. So we like to make things low fat, but very beautiful, very presented, because we deserve it. I mean, I love eating beautifully presented food, so I like to do that for myself. Like making the sushi, we like to make the art, have like the avocado on the top with some ginger and wasabi with a little sprig of parsley. Those are all simple ingredients, but it's the presentation that makes them look gourmet. And I would say maybe like half, 50% of what we eat. But you know, some days we just have smoothies in the morning, fruit, you know, as snacks. We have like a tomato, lettuce variety salad for lunch, and then we have another salad for dinner. So, you know, most days are like that, but then also we have many days that we make sushi, we make wraps, we make burgers, we make tostadas, we make all these things, but they're easy to make. They're not like high maintenance kinds of foods. Like sushi is really easy to make. The burgers are so easy to make. You just blend it in a food processor, form patties, and let them dry. And then you just assemble the burgers, which is fun. The tostadas, super easy to make. So there's a lot of really easy things to make. Blending dressings is easy. Chopping is really easy. It looks like it's more gourmet because it's not something that, you know, most people are making, and that's okay. It's okay to have simple things, and it's okay to have more complex things in your diet. So yeah, and on a side note, Nate does make most of the food that we eat, because I'm so busy, you know, talking to people behind the scenes, running our online community that we have. That is like, there's daily posts going on in there. We do raw food classes in there, making content, making YouTube videos, all of that, and making new recipe ebooks as well. All of that takes so much time. Nate usually makes a lot of the food. He makes our dinner salads most of the time. He makes our smoothies in the morning. So bless him. I'm actually lucky to have him because he really helps out a lot with that too. So it's so awesome. I don't know, gourmet could be low-fat cookie, like a raw jammy Dodger or something. Yeah, gourmet can be really whatever you think it is, because I feel like we eat, even a simple smoothie to me is gourmet, because it's delicious. But to someone else, it might be something really intricate. To another person, it might be something high-fat. So it really depends on what you believe gourmet is in the raw diet. But yeah, we do high carb, low fat, and we do eat fats. We just eat them in more appropriate amounts. So we do use them, but we use them in small amounts so that we still enjoy them, but we like to stick to the low fat. What's next? Oh, social pressures. Whew. The social pressures keep people from eating more raw. And what I have to say to that is just go back to your why. Why do you want to do this? And also remember that, like we mentioned earlier, you get good at practicing things in challenging situations when you practice them in challenging situations. So if you want to get good at choosing raw at a restaurant, then you got to go to the restaurant and choose raw. If you want to get good at taking your raw food to a family gathering, then you have to go to the family gathering and take your raw food. If you want to get good at saying no to your family and friends, then you have to say no to your family and friends. The more you do these things, the easier they get, but you have to start somewhere. And what I learned is, that people see everything you do. So between 2004 and 2014, I dabbled in raw. I would do raw for 3 days or a week, or I think the longest I went was about 2 months in that decade. I was practicing, and I tried to do other diets as well. So, you know, it was I was all over the map. But when I would go raw, I would go to my ex's, you know, or my in-laws' place or whatever, and they would always have cooked food. And so I would go raw, and then I'd be like, no, I'm raw. No, I'm okay. I'm raw. And eventually they would ask so many times, and what they would hear would be, no, okay, just this once. So they learned that all they have to do is ask, ask, and eventually she'll say yes, because we teach them that eventually we will say yes. So we have to teach them that it's no across the board, and we can never say yes to those things. And the thing is, when we say no to people we love who are offering us food, they can feel rejected. They can feel unloved. They can feel like they're not good enough, or their food's not good enough, or what have you. So when you do say no, say it with love and compassion, and give them a hug and thank them, shower them with all the compliments, start asking about them, talk about their new job or whatever. Talk about them and deflect, and just say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I truly appreciate you. You are so amazing. I don't know how I could live without you, or whatever. Like, you want to give them as much love, because if you just say, no, I'm raw, I don't eat that, they're going to be like, oh, okay. You know, you want to make sure that they know that they're loved, and that's going to be really helpful as well. So Strong Body Green Mind says, so you never had hardcore fruitarian like Ted. So Ted eats cooked food. He's not, he eats fruit based. He has lots of fruit in his diet, but he does eat cooked food. And I've never done hardcore fruitarian, and I never will, because I value greens and sprouts and vegetables and other things, herbs and spices, as much. It's equal to me. As much as I value fruit, I also value greens and veggies and sprouts and all the other things, because I believe they both offer such unique things to the body that one or the other might be lacking a little bit in. So I feel like a well-rounded, balanced raw vegan diet, a mix of lots of fruit, but also lots of greens and vegetables, is ideal while staying low fat. So yes, I eat a lot of fruit. I do fruit in the morning, we do fruit smoothies, and then fruit as snacks. We also have fruit-based dressings, but we also eat a huge amount of vegetables, sprouts, microgreens, greens in general. Like, we eat a lot of variety of different greens and vegetables, because we believe that they are equally important on a raw diet. And also things like cruciferous veggies are incredibly beneficial to support phase 2 liver detox. If you're not supporting phase 2 liver detox, which requires glutathione, and you can make glutathione easily from what's in cruciferous veggies. Cruciferous gives you everything you need to do glutathione. But if you're not supporting phase 2, then you get all these detox symptoms, because it's just recirculating in your body. You're not actually inactivating that toxin and pulling it out of your body effectively. So I personally would never do an all fruit diet. That's just not something I'm interested in. I love fruit, but not, I also love vegetables. So I do both, but yes. Watermelon Lime says, finally got that one ingredient I was missing to make the licorice. Hope I can make it today. I hope you can too. Watermelon Lime is talking about the black licorice recipe that you get when you buy the bundle. It's in the Make It Raw 4 ebook that I wrote with Chef AJ. The black licorice recipe is her recipe. It's called Rawthentic Black Licorice, and it tastes exactly like black licorice. And it's only 3 ingredients. It's mostly dates. So it's super delicious. It's raw, and it's like my favorite thing. I love it. I need to make more because we're running out. I keep snacking on it. It's just mostly dates, right? So I just keep snacking on them, and they're so good. So I'm glad that you got that. Jennifer says that's great advice. Thank you. Yeah, so next up we have, this is another reason why people don't like to add as much, or are struggling with adding more raw, is they don't like the textures and the flavors. So when we make raw food that kind of mimics cooked food or looks like cooked food, it's never going to be cooked food. And we have to be okay with that. We have to realize that raw food is its own category, its own awesomeness. And accepting that can really help. Like, zucchini noodles are never going to be pasta, but they can mimic it, and we can kind of feel like we're having a pasta dish, but it's going to be fresher. It's going to be more hydrating. It's going to have more antioxidants in it. It's going to be raw, easier to digest. Like, there's so many reasons why I would prefer to have zucchini noodles or cucumber noodles in a pasta dish, so to speak, than having the cooked noodles. So raw food is never going to be cooked food, but we can embrace the beauty of raw food and what it has to offer us and enjoy it for what it is. So if you don't like specific textures or flavors, at least you tried, which is good, and you can try again later because your taste might change. I used to I don't like using the word hate, but I used to detest cucumbers and raspberries specifically. Those two, spinach as well. We don't eat a lot of spinach. We do have spinach once in a while, but we usually mostly use romaine, butterleaf, kale, those kinds of greens. We rotate a lot of different greens, dandelion, mustard, all kinds. But spinach, but mostly cucumbers and raspberries. I was just not a fan of those. But now, since I've been choosing them, even though I didn't like them in the beginning, I added them to my salads because they're hydrating and they have, so many benefits. So I started adding them and I ate them anyway. But now I absolutely love cucumbers, and cucumber noodles are my favorite. I prefer those over zucchini noodles. And you're gonna find certain things you like better, like for example, the cucumber noodles. I prefer cucumber noodles over zucchini noodles. I find the zucchini ones to be a little bit too spongy, but there's people who prefer the zucchini noodles over the cucumber noodles. So it's totally up to you. Whichever ones you like are the ones that you should be enjoying more of. And try also, another thing that can help with this is to try chopping your veggies in different ways. Spiralizing cucumbers are going to have a different vibe than slicing them or cubing them or making them into half moons or quarter pieces. But also there's a style that I really like. We have a Mandoline slicer, and Nate will put the ruffle chip one in there, and he will slice the cucumber with the ruffle. It's kind of like a wavy, I don't know how to describe it other than ruffle chips. But yeah, it's a wavy one. And I really like the texture of those cucumbers more than, just plain cut round cucumbers. So there's that too. Play around with different textures. Ribboned carrots, like if you use a vegetable peeler and you just keep peeling your carrot until you get all these ribbons, I prefer those as opposed to grated carrots. But my favorite kind of carrot is the matchstick carrots. So, different shapes of vegetables can have different tastes, so to speak. So, I would recommend trying different textures of the raw food and see if you like certain things more than others. What's the next one here? I'm hungry all the time. That one I would recommend to eat more. Definitely eat more. If you are hungry all the time on a raw diet, that's a sign that you're not eating enough. And raw food is very low in calorie density. It digests a lot faster than cooked food, animal products, oils, and junk food. So you are probably going to feel more hungry more often if you're not eating enough. So if you're hungry, eat. It's not a bad thing to be hungry often. I know people think like, oh, if I'm hungry often, then it's not a good diet. Like for some reason I have to be full for 8 hours. That is an illusion. The cooked food and the animal products and the really dense calories have made us think that we need to be full for 8 hours to get us through the entire workday, so to speak. But when you are eating nature's diet, it's okay to eat more often because the food is so easy to digest, and we feel hungry more often, which again is okay. It's okay. Just means that your body needs more fuel. So take a snack, go grab some bananas, eat those, make a salad, make a smoothie, whatever, and fuel up. So listen and honor your hunger. If you are hungry, it just means that you need to eat more. Ruffled chips, Mandoline. Those words are alien to me. Okay, so a Mandoline is kind of a machine that has a blade in it, and if you run a vegetable over it, it slices it. So it's like lots of slices. So it's easier than using a knife. And the ruffle, here in the United States, and I know in Canada too, there is some potato chips. They're called ruffle chips, and they're like wavy potato chips. So when you cut it, it's got like a wave in it, and they're really good. I love the texture of those. So logging on Chronometer helps the initial days. It does. Chronometer is so valuable, and some people are scared to count calories, and that's understandable. But if you frame it as a learning tool and not an obsession, it can really help you to learn about the foods that you're putting into your body. It's important to learn about what we're putting in our bodies. It's important to learn what a 2,000 calorie day looks like so that we can make sure that we're eating enough, because it's it's a nice idea to eat intuitively, but most people, when they're on a raw diet, they eat intuitively. They're not eating enough. They're eating what a 2-year-old needs. They're just not eating enough, because raw food fills the stomach with the hydration and the fiber. So you get that stomach stretch, but there might only be 500 calories in your stomach. So only having 2 meals a day, maybe you're only eating 1,000 calories, and you're going to be hungry, you're going to struggle, you're going to have cravings, you're going to get nutritional deficiencies over time. So it's super important to make sure that you know what a 700 calorie salad looks like, what a 600 calorie smoothie looks like. And you can do that with using chronometers. So it's very important in the beginning to do that. Make sure that you're eating enough. Watermelon Lime says, people always claim they have a favorite pasta shape, so I definitely believe you. Yes, I had favorite pasta shapes too. I did. There was like a spiral one. It wasn't fusilli. It was like a spring almost. I don't remember the name of it, but that was my favorite. That was the one I would always buy that one. It was so good. I just loved how the sauce would fit inside. And I know some people like the shells a lot. So yeah, people have preference of shapes in food. So if you can do different shapes with your fruit and veggies, then it can be a little bit more enjoyable as well. Don't look in the protein section. Based on traditional, you need a lot of protein fallacy. That's a great question. So with protein, there are the amino acids to build protein in all plants. We get all 9 essential amino acids from a variety of different plant sources. And it is a myth. It is a fallacy. We have been programmed to believe that we need a huge amount of protein when we actually don't need as much as is promoted. It's usually anywhere between 0.8 to 1.2 grams per kilogram. Very important to note that, because a lot of people are saying it's per pound, and that's going to be a lot more protein if you go by pound, because there's more pounds than kilos. So say you weigh 130 pounds, I don't know what that is in kilos, probably like 56 kilos or whatever. So if you're going 1 gram per pound, that's 130 grams. But if you're going 1 gram per kilo, it's only 58. There's a big difference there. So the actual protein needs are per kilo, not per pound. So find your weight in kilo and then figure it out from there. So you need to get your weight in kilos in order to get the appropriate amount of protein that is the RDA, which is already set on the high end anyways. So if you're eating enough calories and you're eating enough variety, it's very easy to get your protein requirements. And when you eat protein, your body breaks it down into amino acids. Think of those as all the Lego pieces. So if your body wants to build collagen, it takes pieces from the amino acid pool and it builds collagen. If it wants to build muscle, it takes proteins from there and it builds muscle. So your body actually takes from the amino acid pool, and you don't have to combine specific proteins per specific meal, because whatever you eat just goes into the pool and then the body takes whatever it needs. So it's about eating variety, it's about enjoying it and not focusing on being so hyper focused on that. I have a mandolin slicer hiding somewhere for sure. Yeah, mandolins are pretty cool. I don't usually use it, but Nate has been really enjoying using the mandolin. So, like you find tools that you really love and you enjoy and have fun with that. Next reason is I'm scared of eating too much sugar or too low fat or too many calories. So this is diet culture talking. Diet culture has us believing that sugar is bad, fruit is bad. It has us believing that we need a huge amount of healthy fats, and fats are amazing and we should be eating mostly fats. And also that we have to restrict our calories to lose weight or to live long. That's another one. It's kind of a misconception with the longevity. When they did the studies, and they called them calorie restriction studies, so a lot of people will do calorie restriction for longevity. The thing is, calorie restriction is not under eating. Calorie restriction in the scientific papers means eating the appropriate amount of calories for your body without eating more. That's what it is. It's not about eating less. It's about eating exactly what you need. Because people who ate less, who were on the calorie restriction and they're eating less, actually aged faster. So it's not about eating less. It's about eating exactly what your body needs. So that's taking your BMR, your bare minimum requirement is what I like to call it, and then adding your activity. So if you're moderately active, you take your BMR times 1.55, and that is like kind of like your minimum amount of calories that you should be eating in a day, and stick to around that. If you're really active, you might want to multiply it by upwards of 1.6 or 1.7 or even 1.75. It depends on how active you are. The more active you are, the more calories you're going to need. But if you're under eating, if you're super, super active and you're only eating 1900 calories, then you are in a severe calorie deficit and you're going to age faster. Your body's going to break down itself to compensate for the energy that you're expending while exercising. So you want to make sure that you eat enough calories. So calorie restriction for longevity is not about eating less. It's not about eating less. I want to repeat that again. Calorie restriction for longevity is not about eating less or even less variety. Like a lot of people believe less is more, but this is not true. We need to eat kind of like the three bears, you know, one too cold, one too hot, one just right. So that's where you're gonna get the most longevity benefit, by eating the exact amount of calories that you need for your weight and your activity level. So it's very, very important not to undereat. Don't restrict. Strong Body Green Mind says fruit can definitely not great when eaten in wrong combo. So yeah, you know, it really depends on the person. So I personally don't follow any food combining rules except for no fat with fruit. That's the only one that I really try to follow, even though I still do it once in a while. But I believe that when you build your microbiome really strong with a wide variety of fruits and vegetables in variety of combos, you build your gut really strong and you can deal with those varieties no problem. So I don't believe that the food combining is a blanket statement for absolutely every single person, because I can eat melons with berries just fine. I don't have any issues. I digest it just perfectly. But some people do have an issue with that. So I say that if it's a rule for you, then it's a rule for you. It's not a rule for every single person following a raw diet. So work with where you're at and try different combinations and do it more often, because sometimes that can help the body. The body secretes all the enzymes to digest all proteins, starches, fats, and carbs all at the same time. It knows what you have in there. And yes, some things do take longer to digest because there's longer chains of amino acids, or we don't chew our food thoroughly. That's going to take a lot longer to digest as well. So, you know, like base it on your experience because it's going to be different for everybody. And I eat a huge combination of all different kinds of foods, and I don't have any digestive issues. But my microbiome is extremely strong because I've worked on it over the last 10 years. And when I do my microbiome testing, out of a scale of 1 to 100, most people are at 62. Many raw vegans I've heard, you know, like who have done this test, hover around the 65 to 75% range. But those are people who eat lower variety. They eat very simply. They don't combine a lot of things together. They hover in the 65 to 75 area. Nate and I are at 96, we're over 96% out of 100. So we've worked really hard to build our microbiomes by, again, eating variety, not worrying about food combining, and just enjoying eating and chewing our foods and having a lot of stuff in there. So those are, again, just our opinions, our thoughts after doing this for so long and working with our gut microbiomes and noticing the changes as we have increased our combos and increased our variety. Like Nate and I eat on average. We did a list. We wrote down a list of all the different fruits, vegetables, and herbs that we buy every week. And we eat over 85 different varieties of plant foods every week. And they're all raw. So we do eat a huge variety of things and we mix them up all together. And we don't think that's an issue. But again, if it is for you, then it's a rule for you. So just listen to your own body and not necessarily to put yourself in a box and stay there. It's, you know, elimination diets are meant to show you what works, and then slowly you can start to incorporate new things in and get your body used to it. So Watermelon Lime says, we buy from a co-op, helps so much with variety. That is awesome. I love that you have a co-op that you can do that. there. And yes, we like to shop at different stores as well, because there's some stores here that sell different things than other stores. So we kind of have like a routine that we go to this store, we go to that store, we go here, because there's, we don't want to shop at just one store because then our variety is limited. We also get a box sent to us from Farm Fresh to You every week. Not every week. I mean, if we're going away, we won't order it, but almost every week we order from Farm Fresh to You, and they deliver to the door, and it's all organic. There's a lot of really fun varieties in there. That's where we get our lion's mane. We do get lion's mane at Whole Foods and Sprouts though too, but we get our purple daikon radish, our dandelion greens. We get all different really kind of unique stuff from that box, so we really enjoy that. So the key is strengthening our microbiome by throwing huge variety of plants in there. Yes and no. So you strengthen the microbiome by slowly adding new varieties. So for example, if you do really well right now with a salad with romaine, tomatoes, cucumber, and bell pepper, say that's like a good salad for you, then what you want to do to add more variety, go slow with your gut, because it's like going to the gym. If we want to increase our muscle strength, we have to start slow and be consistent with smaller amounts of weights. So then when our muscles get strong, then we can add more weights, right? So the same thing happens with your microbiome. You start with that salad that feels good for you, then you slowly add a small amount of some random one that you want to add to your diet. Say broccoli, for example. You start slow with one little floret, maybe like 2 tablespoons chopped in your salad. Be consistent with that, like you would be at the gym, consistent with your 10-pound weights for a week or 2 or whatever. Once your muscles get strong, then you can increase to the 15 pounds, just like your microbiome. Once your microbiome gets strong, you can increase to 3 or 4 tablespoons of broccoli until you get to about, a cup. If that's where you want to go, that's fine. And then you have your salad, same salad, but you've got broccoli in there. Then you move on to cabbage. So you keep the broccoli in there, but you add cabbage and start slow with the cabbage. Just add more cabbage. And, slowly with time, your gut grows to enjoy more cabbage. And then you could add carrots to it. And then slowly with time. And then soon your salad is romaine, tomatoes, cucumber, bell pepper, cabbage, broccoli, and, endive, dandelion, or whatever it is that you're adding in. But you got to go slow. So you can't necessarily just jump in and have 20 varieties in your salad. That might feel uncomfortable. And that's where a lot of people will say, broccoli isn't human food because I can't digest it. I can digest broccoli just fine because my microbiome is strong. And a lot of people who go too limited in variety, too limited in their choices, too simple, can actually atrophy their microbiome. So then at that point, they can't eat broccoli because it gives them gas and bloating. But it's not the broccoli's fault. It's the fact that their gut microbiome has weakened because of the lower variety. So if you want to build your microbiome, just like going to the gym, you gotta start slow and you gotta be consistent, you gotta increase and work from there. So work with your gut microbiome, not against it. Don't force it into 20 things all at once. Start slow with little things, and then slowly over time, you'll just slowly increase your variety until you're having these big giant salads and they're feeling really great. But another thing to keep in mind as well is to chew your food thoroughly. Some people will say, oh, well, corn doesn't digest because I see it when I go to the bathroom. It's like whole in the bathroom. And I'm like, that doesn't mean that you can't digest it. That means that you didn't chew it. If you chew it, you can digest it. So make sure that you chew each bite so it's the consistency of a smoothie. That's what you want. And then swallow. We don't want to be swallowing half-eaten chunks because our stomach's going to be like, hey, you didn't chew. Our stomach needs it in a smoothie consistency so that we can absorb the most from it. If you want to get more nutrition from your food, chew it more thoroughly because then you expose more surface area to absorb all the goodness that's inside. If you're not chewing it, your body's going to be like, what? Because digestion starts here. So fermented foods are also really good for this, like sauerkraut, kimchi, etc. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, fermented foods are amazing. I am a huge fan of fermented foods, especially kimchi, sauerkraut, and miso. Miso is another one that I love. And this can actually help us build our microbiome as well because you're giving your body probiotics, you're giving your body pre-digested nutrients, and it can help build our microbiome. But again, you want to start slow. If you're not used to ferments, don't start with a half a cup of sauerkraut on your salad. Start with a teaspoon, and I'm talking slow. Start slow, because if you start too fast and you get gas and bloating, you're gonna think that those foods aren't good for you. Start slow, build up, take your time. It's not a race. So yes, not everything is meant for us to digest. It's fiber for the microbiome to eat. That's true. Yes, our bodies do not digest fiber. Our microbiome digests fiber. So that's why we really need to make sure that we chew our food so that they have a lot of food for them to produce short chain fatty acids, which, by the way, there's a new study that came out. This is really exciting, that basically shows that fiber is like the new protein. So when the microbiome, when we have a strong microbiome and when we eat fiber in fiber variety, they digest this fiber and they secrete something called short chain fatty acids. And these short chain fatty acids are shown to improve muscle mass when we work out. So in a way, it's like eating protein. I mean, our muscles are made of protein, but also we need these short chain fatty acids to do that as well. So fiber is essential. It's not an essential nutrient according to whoever out there. I believe fiber is probably one of the most essential things that we need. If we are focusing on fiber and fiber variety, then we're easily going to get enough protein. We're easily going to get enough vitamins and minerals if we eat variety and eat enough. So very super important. Love miso in a soup. Miso broccoli soup. And yes, you can do miso soup raw as well. If you boil the water and then let it come to around 115 degrees Fahrenheit, you can make raw miso soup, which you can get recipes for 3 different kinds of miso soups in the Sushi ebook, which you can get in the bundle, link in my bio or in the description box below. Fiber is fuel for the good microbes, which are more us than we are we. Yes, exactly. There are more bacteria in our gut than are cells in our entire body. And in fact, genetically, we are only 0.5% human DNA. We are 99.5% microbial DNA. So they are basically most of our DNA, and they thrive on fiber. They thrive on fiber variety. So it's really important to eat a huge variety of different plants to feed them, because they are super important. They're called the forgotten organ. And I've also heard them been referred to as endangered species. So we need to make sure that we feed them. This is another cool analogy that I like to tell people too, is we value biodiversity in jungles and rainforests, and we look down on monocropping, right? We can all agree that monocropping isn't ideal for the ecology, right? If you want to have a thriving ecology, you need diversity. And when we are eating too simply, we're eating very little variety, we are basically monocropping our guts. So there's not a huge amount of life in there. And yes, the foods that you eat are fine, but then as soon as you start reintroducing these other foods, it's going to feel uncomfortable because you have a monocropped gut. We want to have a rainforest gut. That's the goal. We want to have a rainforest gut. So in order to have a rainforest gut, we have to eat a huge variety of foods. So, and yes, antibiotics cause damage as well. There's actually an interesting study that's come out recently that shows that it's actually more beneficial to not take probiotics after a round of antibiotics. Your microbiome bounces back fine if you eat a wide variety of plant foods as opposed to taking a probiotic, because the probiotic can mess up your balance and some of those colonies can't necessarily grow. So it is recommended, if you do a round of antibiotics, after your antibiotics and during, obviously, you want to eat a huge variety of foods if you can to help grow back your own microbiome. So that's an interesting thing too. How much money do you spend on food? So it's pretty expensive these days in general. It doesn't matter what diet you're on, everything's expensive. But Nate and I, so for the two of us, we spend roughly around, I want to say $850 a month for the two of us. So that's like 400 and something per person per month of raw food. We don't buy all organic, because otherwise it would be like $2,000 a month. We don't buy all organic, and we shop at, conventional stores. We don't worry too much. Like, we do buy organic. It's not like we don't. But we don't exclusively buy organic, and we don't worry about it, because if we were worried about it and we were struggling to afford it, it wouldn't make sense. So we prefer to have a wide variety of both organic and conventional. So we shop at and we get sales, we buy stuff that's in season and we freeze it. So when it's out of season, we can enjoy those things. You can buy in bulk. We grow a lot of our own sprouts and microgreens, so we're not spending a huge amount of money there. But yeah, I would say roughly around $850, maybe $900 a month we spend on food. So it's not a huge amount, but I mean, it is a good chunk. So Strong Body Green Mind says, I think I heard minimum of 30 plant varieties. Yes, 30 plant varieties per week. That is the minimum. The more varieties you have, the stronger your microbiome gets. So the next one we did was, we didn't really finish the scared of too much sugar. Release that, because those are diet culture ideas based on diet culture foods or standard North American foods. We can release that. We can release the fear of fruit. We can release the fear of a low-fat diet. We can release the fear of eating enough calories and just focus on supporting your body. Don't worry about those diet culture rules, because they don't apply to a raw diet. It's very important. Do you have a protocol to flush out all the pesticides like glyphosate? We don't. It's pretty impossible to avoid that completely. But we believe that if we can support our phase 2 liver detox, then our livers are more likely to detox whatever we have in there by not consuming foods that are burdening to the body, like high fat or animal products or processed foods. We don't do those things. Saunas, exercise, being happy and not being worried about that. Because being overly worried and obsessed about being as clean as possible can bring anxiety, a low-grade anxiety in you that is actually, in my mind, probably worse than the toxins that we're breathing in or eating. So our mindset is very important as well. We want to be happy and we want to be healthy. And if we support our liver, again, with variety, eating a lot of foods that support glutathione production, which supports phase 2 liver detox, I believe that our livers can deal with that a lot easier. So yeah, that would be my answer to that. And then I'm tired. I'm tired. I tried, but I can't be perfect, so I'm not raw anymore. So this is the last one that I wanted to chat about with struggles going raw, is people feel like they need to be perfect, and that kind of flows in from our last one. People try so hard to be so perfect that they end up eating junk food or animal products or going back to what they're used to because it's too hard to stay too perfect. So the goal is not perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. The goal is progress and practice. You progress by continuing to choose raw food whenever you can, and you practice. You keep practicing it. Every day you choose, maybe if it's 1 raw meal a day, then start there. If it's 2 meals a day, start there. Whatever that looks like for you, it's about making it possible for you to be able to eat more raw food, and don't aim for a level of perfection, because what's perfect to one person might not be perfect to another. So just release the idea that you need to be perfect and just start eating more raw foods. Again, in general, more raw foods, lower fat, so that your insulin actually works properly, and just enjoy in abundance. Release all of those fears around foods, because you're eating the correct foods, so you can eat a lot of them. So thank you so much for attending this live. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from this. I am so grateful for you. If you enjoy these lives, and if you want to support us, but most importantly, if you want to support yourself, grab the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle 2025. There's only 4 days after today to buy this bundle, and then it's gone. You won't be able to purchase this collection ever again for $50. This is all brand new content that we have created for you to enjoy more raw food in your diet and learn more about different ideas with a raw diet. So please go check that out. Link is in my bio or in the description box below. I love you all so much. Watermelon Lime says she learned a lot. Jennifer says thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for joining. I truly appreciate you. I believe Nate, let me just check here. So the next live, Nate is going to be live at Raw Natty Nate. So it's Raw Natty N8. He is going live in an hour, and he's going to be making his pea guacamole, and he's going to be showing off the crackers that he made yesterday. So if you want to watch that food demo, that's happening in an hour from now at noon PST on his Instagram channel. And then at 2 p.m., I'm going to be going live with Bella, Raw Vegan Bella. And I'm really excited for that live because I've never met her in person. So, well, online, in person, so to speak. But we're going to be talking about social challenges and her ebook in the bundle, which you're going to want to get. Again, link in my bio or in the description box. Her contribution is called Don't Kale My Vibe, which is all about socially eating as a raw vegan. So that's a really fun one. We're going to chat about that at 2 p.m. PST. Then at 3:30 p.m. PST, we're going to be talking about meal planning made easy with Karen Ramsey. And then at 6 p.m. we're going live with Daria, who's also in the bundle, so is Karen. The art of rolling plants, how to master raw vegan sushi at home. So we're going to be talking about sushi tips with Daria today at 6 p.m. PST. So stay tuned for all of those. Can't wait. And again, grab the bundle. You have until May 11th to buy it and June 30th to download. Thank you for joining, and we love you so much as always. Fruit on!